All right, so this is going to be another video about polynomial division, and I have 5 other example problems that I'm going to be working through, so hopefully it cements the concept a little bit better in your head after doing these. So let's start with number 6 here. All right, so this time instead of dividing by x or dividing by 3x like we did in the last video, we're going to be dividing by this x plus 3. So the rules change a little bit on this, just involving like a little bit of distributing compared to last time, but for the most part, it's pretty much the exact same thing. So let's write this down really quick. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is, if you notice that there's an x plus 3 instead of just an x, we only need to really worry about this leading term. The 3, we still have to deal with it with the math, but for figuring out what we need to multiply this x by to get each of these terms, we only really need to look at that first term, that x. We don't need to worry about the 3. So just think, what can you multiply this x by to get x squared? Well, the answer for that would be x. So if I multiply this by x, you're going to get an x squared right here. But you're also going to get, so that's the x squared, you're also going to get a 3x. So I'm going to do plus 3x here. And we still need to subtract off this orange, this part that I just drew, but it needs to be in parentheses because we need to subtract the whole thing. Not just the x squared, but the 3x as well. So it's a really good tip to make sure you put it in parentheses. So this cancels here because x squared minus x squared. And then we're doing x minus, so I'm going to make this a plus and change this to a minus. So now it's going to be x minus 3x. So this is going to end up being negative 2x minus 6 here. X minus 3x is 2x, and then the negative 6 just drops down. So now you have to think, what can you multiply this x by right here to get negative 2x, okay? And hopefully you see that the answer would just be negative 2. So negative 2 times x is going to be that negative 2x, and then negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Again, make sure you put it in parentheses, and then we're going to subtract. And when you do that, everything actually cancels out, so you have no remainder, and x minus 2 is your final answer for this one. Okay. Now, let's just say you factored that top one out. You would actually get x minus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, and then if you divided this by x plus 3, you'll notice the x plus 3 will cancel. Okay, so cancel, cancel, and you're left with x minus 2, which actually matches our answer right here. So that's one way of telling, that's one way of figuring out if you actually did it right. But this only actually works if you have a remainder of 0. Okay, it's not going to work if you don't have a remainder of 0, just throwing that out there. Okay, but the answer for number 6 is x minus 2. All right, on to the next one. So we have x squared minus 49, and we're dividing this by x minus 7. All right, so what do you multiply this leading term by to get x squared? Well, you would multiply it by x. So x times x is x squared, and we're minusing 7x from it because we have to distribute to both of these here, the x and the negative 7. That's why it's x squared minus 7x. Okay, put it in parentheses, and then we're going to subtract. Cancel, cancel, plus, plus, and you end up with 7x minus 49. Okay, then you have to look at the leading term. What do you multiply x by to get 7x? Well, 7. 7 times x is 7x. And then 7 times negative 7 is negative 49. And you'll notice that everything cancels out here, which is nice. Okay, when that happens, then you know you have the right answer right there. When that happens, then you're pretty much done, and that's the answer. Now again, if you wanted to factor this, you could. It would be x plus 7 times x minus 7, and then you're dividing by x minus 7. And again, this cancels, cancels, and you're left with that x plus 7, which matches what your answer is. Okay, again, that will happen if you have no remainder. But the next one does have a remainder, so you're not actually going to be able to do it that way. Okay, you have to use polynomial division. You cannot actually factor it out. So that's what we're going to do real quick. We're going to do x squared minus 27, and we're dividing this by x plus 5. Okay, leading term, what do you multiply x by to get x squared? Well, x. X times x is x squared, so it's going to be x squared plus 5x, and then you have to put this in parentheses and subtract. Okay, practice is important on this because you're just following that same process over and over again. So now it's going to be negative 27 minus 5x. So it's going to be negative 5x minus 27. You always want the leading term, you always want it to be in descending order. So this is a power of 1, so make sure that goes before the negative 27. It just makes the math a little bit easier to do. All right, you're going to do negative 5 here because negative 5 times x is negative 5x minus 25. Parentheses, parentheses, and then we're subtracting again. Negative 5x and this negative 5x right here are going to cancel. And then actually I wrote this wrong. That's embarrassing. This should have been, hold on one second. This should have been a 25 because negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. All right, so it's negative 27 plus 25. So that's going to be a negative 2 for the remainder. And since you can't multiply, x doesn't go into that negative 2, you're just going to have to rewrite it up here with negative 2 over x plus 5. Okay, and this is going to end up being your final answer right here, this whole thing. Okay, now if you multiplied that by x plus 5, you would get the same answer of what you started with for the numerator anyway, if you multiplied by x plus 5. So, feel free to check your work by doing that. All right, let's do the... All right, this one actually comes out to be a really weird answer because I'm dividing it by a 9 here. This is actually a typo. What I really wanted this to be was a 1. So let's get rid of this right here and just put a 1 here. It is going to be changed on your practice problem set. I'm just going to change that now. That's my bad. So it's going to be x cubed minus 6, and we're dividing this by x plus 1. Okay, and then you just have to multiply this by x squared to get the x third up at the top here. So multiply it here, and you get plus x squared. Okay. Then we are going to subtract these off here, and then this becomes a plus, and then you end up with negative x squared minus 6. Okay. We're going to multiply this by negative x to get the negative x squared over here, minus x, parentheses, parentheses. Okay, we're going to cancel some stuff out, plus, plus, and you end up with x minus 6 here. This is going to be a plus 1, and then you're going to be left with an x plus 1 on the bottom here. The x's are going to cancel, and you're going to be left with negative 6 minus 1, which is negative 7. That's going to be the remainder for this problem. So I'm going to write it up here, minus 7 over x plus 1, and that's your final answer. All right, so that's 5 more example problems involving polynomial division. Hopefully that makes the concept make a little bit more sense in your head, as well as like seeing that pattern of how to solve these problems using that long division algorithm. If you have any questions about anything in this video, let me know.